Hi, and welcome. I'm Sheila Balgobin, principal of Simply Improve Health, and I help people to improve their health with simple plant-based natural products and simple techniques. This is the third time I've tried to record this evening. The technology seems to be against me, but I will persevere and I will see it through. The first two recordings had no sound. Great recordings, but no sound. Tonight I'm going to be talking about, or continuing to talk about, stepping back and taking time out for oneself for personal development and stress management. As I mentioned last week, I was in Morocco on a retreat and learned to learn to put aside the things that were holding me back and holding my business back from moving forward. This evening, I'm continuing that inner work, but in a more fun way. Working on yourself isn't always easy, but it's certainly worthwhile, especially as you start to reflect on what it is you've done, what it is you're going to do, and what your purpose is, what your why for living is. I had the opportunity a week after returning from my trip to Morocco to spend a day of pure self-indulgence, actually, but with a purpose. I was taking boudoir photos, as it happens, in Bristol. There's a lot of photographers taking boudoir photos in Bristol. I'm not sure what that's about, but maybe the women there know something that the rest of us need to think about, and that is celebrating ourselves and taking time for ourselves. And that goes for men as well as women. It's not just something that only women need to be doing, though we need to do it even more. What I learned in that day in Bristol with an amazing photographer, Victoria, and Sandy, who was called in at the last minute as the makeup artist. And I have to say that she did such a wonderful job that A, I hated taking the makeup off after the day, and B, I got so many wonderful compliments from people who saw my new profile picture, which was taken on that day. It was just amazing to hear some of the beautiful comments that people made with regard to how I looked. And that was part of my healing process as well. The lesson that I took from that day was not only to celebrate myself, but to celebrate the different aspects of myself. So whether I was reliving my days of living in LA as biker chick, yeah, that was me, biker chick, loved it. Or celebrating the fact that I love to dance, whether it be belly dancing or freestyle, or just being a lady in her boudoir waiting for her love to come to her. Those are parts of me that lie within me, that are dormant within me, and don't always get out to see the light of day, and which is a shame because they represent very good periods of very happy times in my life and need to be brought out more. Now, you don't need to spend the day in Bristol taking boudoir photos. It could be celebrating the fact that you're a great cook, or that you write music, or that you can dance, which I love to do as well. Or anything that gives you pleasure, that makes your heart beat faster, that makes you smile, that brings out the 5-year-old in you. It may be splashing in puddles when it rains with your kids. Whatever it is that makes your heart happy and makes you remember who you are exactly is important. And it took me being able to step back from my day-to-day life with like-minded others to see who I was, or who was being reflected back to me. And though I knew that I was capable and good at this and good at that, and people enjoyed working with me, I knew it here, but I didn't feel it somehow in me that there was, and what was holding me back was me not truly believing in my heart that that I was those things that other people were telling me. And it took a bit of time to realize that, to have that, those distorted messages that through no fault of my own have become part of my mental functioning, or as a friend of mine would call it, we call it mental malware. So I have a malfunctioning program running in the background in my mind, and I needed to get rid of it before I could move on in my life, before I could move on with my business, before I could move on in anything. I was literally had come to a dead stop, and it took standing outside of my daily life to be able to understand that, and be able to do some concerted work to be able to remove that malware so that I could move on. Now, that was the hard part, going to, to take nice photos, and celebrate the different aspects of myself, was another part of stepping back from ordinary reality, and looking at myself in a different way. And I would advise you to do that. I would suggest that you do that. It doesn't have to be anything big or extravagant. Again, it's small gestures of recognition that I'm talking about here. Like I said, baking something if you love to bake, or writing a poem, or whatever the case may be. Celebrate that. Don't wait for others to celebrate your life. You celebrate your life. Even if it's at the moment it doesn't appear to be very celebratory. Celebrate the fact that you're alive, that you're well, that you have others around you who believe in you and love you. Celebrate that, because the person that you need to have the closest and best relationship with is yourself, because from yourself proceeds everything else. And the reason why I say that is because I've been sitting on a course for the last 3 years, a course that I designed. It's ready to go, but it's been sitting because I didn't believe in my heart that someone would be interested in what it is I had to offer. I found out while I was away, and since then, that is simply untrue. That was mental malware that I needed to remove from my mind and my heart in order to be able to bring that course forward and believe that there is if I found this particular subject interesting, that others would as well. And others have found it interesting. So I've disproved my own mental malware, that I wasn't good enough, that it wasn't time. Maybe it wasn't time, but it certainly was good enough. And with a bit of tweaking, it'll be even better. But if I hadn't taken the time to step back and work with facilitators and a lovely group of women, my wise women, to be able to understand that what I had to offer was valuable and was worthwhile, then that course would still be sitting on a shelf somewhere, not being brought to light, not being celebrated and shown and shared with other people. And so it's important that we take the time to step back and know ourselves, but we also take that same time to step back and celebrate ourselves, celebrate what it is in our hearts that others find engaging and find lovable and find beautiful in ourselves. So this is third time now that I've tried to put this live on, and maybe this is the message that needs to go out. I think this will be the one. I hope, fingers crossed. But in any case, if you don't take anything else from this live broadcast, I do say, please take the message that you are worth celebrating. And if no one else can see it, you need to see it. Celebrate yourself. Take that time to step back and celebrate the different parts of yourself because you're beautiful. If you don't believe it, I believe it for you. You're beautiful. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hopefully you can listen this time. And I'll be telling you more about that course that's been sitting on my shelf and is now coming into being in the weeks to come. Take care and have a lovely week. Bye-bye.